The number itself isn't a problem. The absence of context is. You're realistically netting about $41. Nobody volunteers that math up front. The gap wasn't stupidity.
You spent 15 years inside Batumi's real estate market before starting ProfitKey. What was the moment that made you decide it was time to do things your own way?
There wasn't one dramatic moment. It was more of an accumulation. I kept watching buyers make decisions based on numbers that nobody had actually verified. Projections presented as facts. Yields calculated under optimal conditions that almost never materialized. At some point, I realized I was close enough to the information to actually help people, and far enough from the sales machine to be honest about it. That was the moment when ProfitKey made sense.
You were educated in the US and Sweden, hold a PhD in business administration. How does that actually help you in market most people approach on instinct?
It taught me to interrogate numbers before I trust them. In academia, you cannot just assert something. You have to show your methodology, your sources, your assumptions. I apply that to every project I evaluate. What's the demand basis for that yield figure? What assumptions is a developer making about occupancy? What does the actual deduction chain look like? Most people in this industry don't ask those questions. I cannot not ask them.
You launched ProfitKey Property on your birthday, February 11, 2025. Coincidence or deliberate?
Deliberate. I wanted the date to mean something, not just another Monday. Starting a company is a statement. I wanted it to tie to something personal, something I'd remember every year. It also gave me a deadline I couldn't move.
What was the moment during those 15 years on the other side that made you realize buyers were systematically missing key information?
When I started noticing the same gap repeatedly, buyers who had done real research, compared multiple markets, asked reasonable questions, and still walked away with a fundamentally wrong picture of what their return would look like. It was that the information available to them was structurally incomplete. Nobody was showing them the full deduction chain. Nobody was flagging the difference between the developer projections and actual performance. The gap wasn't stupidity, it was excess.
Why do even well-prepared buyers still get burned by the 12% yield figure?
Because the number is technically true under a specific set of conditions, like full occupancy, direct booking, no platform commissions, optimal pricing. That's not disclosed is that those conditions regularly all hold simultaneously. The figure isn't fabricated. It's just the best case scenario presented as a baseline. And most buyers, even smart ones, don't know what questions to ask and pull that number apart.
Break down the difference between rental yield and actual ROI. Why is it so easy to confuse them?
Rental yield is income your property generates relative to its purchase price. That's one number. Your actual return on investment includes what happens to the assets itself. Does it go up in the value, stay flat, or drop? Those are two completely different things. People confuse them because most marketing presents yield as if it's the whole picture. It isn't. 6% yield in the market with a strong capital appreciation can significantly outperform a 12% yield in an oversupplied market, where prices are flat or declining. The brochure only even shows you one half of that equation.
Walk us through the 60-40 split. Why does something that sounds simple turn into completely different numbers in practice?
The 60-40 split sounds clean. 60% of rental income to the owner, 40% to the management company. What most people don't realize is that 60% is actually calculated from. Take a unit quoted at $100 per night. VAT comes off first, $84, $85. If the booking came through an OTA like Booking.com or Airbnb, their commission is another 15 to 20%. You are now at $68, $70. That's the base. Your 60%, that is roughly $41, $42. Then you have monthly maintenance fee charged regardless of occupancy. From a baseline $100 a night, you're realistically netting about $41. Nobody volunteers that math up front.
Almost nobody asks who's accountable for property's return after delivery. Why is that question so rarely asked?
Because by the time people sign, they're focused on the purchase, the legal process, the payment schedule, getting the keys. The post-delivery management question feels like a detail. It isn't. The management company determines your actual return. Their occupancy rates, their pricing strategy, their relationship with OTAs, their maintenance standards, all of that directly affects your income. But it's actually buried in a management agreement that buyers sign without fully understanding. I make the conversations happen before they purchase the decision, not after.
You say developers presenting inflated figures aren't necessarily being fraudulent. They're presenting optimal condition as the baseline. Where do you draw the line?
The line for me is disclosure. Marketing something as up to 12% and showing the assumptions behind that figure, full occupancy, direct booking, specific pricing, that's marketing. Presenting that number without the conditions attached as if it's what buyers can realistically expect is misleading. The number itself isn't the problem. The absence of context is. In practice, very few developers proactively show buyers the full deduction chain before the sale. That's the gap I exist to fill.